You are overly sensitive, so I won't say much. But my heart gets pulled into pieces whenever you're poured up. You are malevolent and benevolent. You are the devil I revel in. I barely recognize you when you wake up in the morning.
we got maths. You're staying after class, after class, after class. Got science, we got maths.
It's currently 2 minutes past 5 and you're listening to iScience Radio. Welcome to our 20th show. Yes, you heard it right. This is show number 20 of this year's iScience Radio team, and in honor of this hallmark episode, let me do the OG intro phrase again. This weekly radio show is brought to you by Camilla, the producer, and myself, Alex, the presenter. Each week we have a different theme broadly related to the world of science as we represent the greater iScience family. iScience produces online and print content and is run in full by science communications and science and media production master students here at Imperial College London. And speaking of the print content, the third iScience magazine for this academic year just launched today. And overall, this is issue number 52, and the theme is joy. So we're ending off our term as the team for iScience 2022 with a truly joyful celebration, which is why we have decided to make this radio show all about celebrations all around, as we termed it, starting off with a chat with Jacqueline, one of our two editors-in-chief, and with Will, who wrote a really interesting article about the science of smiling. We're also going to feature some funky music from our very talented coursemate Caitlin, and an epic duel between Camilla and Aaron, who are going head-to-head in a trivia quiz. There is a lot of joy for you guaranteed, so stay tuned. So without further ado, let's go right into celebration mode with our first song and a 2016 banger. Here is Congratulations by Post Malone.
My mama called, see you on TV. Sunset shit done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I wouldn't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hating, say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it. They was never friendly, yeah. Now I'm jumping out of Bentley, yeah. And I know I sound dramatic, yeah. But I know I had to have it, yeah. For the money, I'm a savage, yeah. I be itching like I had it, yeah. I'm surrounded 20 bad bitches, yeah. But they didn't know me last year, yeah. Everyone wanna act like they important, but all that mean nothing when I saw my door, yeah. Everyone counting on me, drop the ball, yeah. Everything custom like I'm at the bottom, yeah, yeah. If you fuck with winning, put your lighters to the sky. How could I make sense when I got millions on my mind? Coming with that bullshit, I just put it to the side. Bought a sense of baby, they could see it in my eyes. My mama called, see you on TV. Sunset shit done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I wouldn't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hating, say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it.
I was patient, yeah. Oh, I was patient. Now I can scream that we made it. Now everywhere I go, they say congratulations. Young nigga, graduation. I pick up the rock and I ball, baby. I'm looking for someone to call, baby. But right now I got a situation. Never old Ben Franklin. Big rings, champagne. My life is like a ball game. But instead I'm in a trap, though. Pot so big, call it Super Bowl. Super Bowl, call the hoes. Get in the road. Top flow lifestyle. Huncho and Post. Malone. I got a play on my phone. You know what I'm on. Huncho who did it is gone.
My mama called, see you on TV. Sunset shit done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I wouldn't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hating, say we changing, look, we made it.
Now, that was Congratulations by Post Malone, the American rapper and singer, featuring vocals from Quavo, another American rapper. And this song was actually released in 2017 as part of Malone's debut studio album, Stoney. Apparently, the song was written while Malone and his songwriting team were watching the 2016 Summer Olympics, and they were inspired to create a triumphant song, much like Malone and I are feeling triumphant for completing 20 radio shows. But moving on, to kick us off in our discussion about our final iScience issue, we have one of the editors-in-chief here in the studio with us. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on again. You were here before for the first issue of this academic year, which was our 50th issue. And yeah, first off, we know that this theme's issue is called Joy. So can you tell us a little bit about the rationale for that?
So I guess we wanted to just end the year on an optimistic note. So much has happened, but also we see the world going back to normal to some extent. And so we really wanted this to be kind of a future-looking issue. What do we have to look forward to? What is there to be happy about? But we also think that the issue's topic and theme also draws attention to maybe where there's still work to be done. So for example, where can we increase the joy that can be had in STEM? Where can we increase liberation, equality? Where can we enjoy access to joy? And so I think the theme both points to what there is to celebrate and what we have to work towards as an entire society.
So it's kind of like a bit of a connection between the past and the present.
Exactly.
And now after that, we had years and years of COVID and really a lot of negativity in our lives. So you could say that this is now very forward thinking and kind of looking into summer as well. Yeah,
definitely. If you look at the cover, it's just this bright yellow cover, and I think it's just perfect for the wonderful weather we've been having.
Yeah, exactly. So how is that, well, you mentioned it kind of already, how is that this particular issue different then from the previous ones?
I just think that it's so much more visually impactful. So of course we still focus on things like high quality writing, making sure that the theme is both broad enough to capture the entire scope of STEM as well as the culture around STEM. But I think the thing that makes this kind of different is that we kind of wanted this to be far more visually impactful. So for example, the front cover is just beautiful artwork designed by our magazine editor, and we also have full page, beautifully colored illustrations and graphics by some students from the course, really talented students, but also some students from St. St. Martin's, which is, art school and design school in King's Cross. So it's a wonderful collaboration. I think it's just a beautiful combination of everything that we've built up so far.
Yeah, so there's a lot of emphasis on the art side this time.
Exactly.
And it's kind of the essence of our course as well, to combine, not just only reconcile arts and science, but also make them interact in a way that's mutually beneficial, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. So we still have fantastic writing from everyone in the course, super high quality, and I think you can also showcase just how broadly talented everyone is. It just seems like everyone's a bit of a Renaissance artist, capable of writing and literally doing everything. So for example, the art of the issue is by Maya Pico, who is part of the course, and so she's a wonderful science communicator, is our data protections and accessibility officer, but also is capable of creating wonderful art.
Yeah, it's great to be able to balance so many things. Maya was actually on the show once reading her poetry out. It was for the Valentine's Day show. It was really interesting. Yeah, so many different talents hidden in this course with these very people, and coming to you and your talents. And yeah, basically we're reaching the end of our time for working for iScience for this team. Looking back, how was it like being one of the editors-in-chief for you?
I think it was both incredibly busy and also incredibly easy at the same time. Busy and kind of stressful at the beginning because I think the handover was a bit chaotic. We were transitioning between complete remote learning to being back on campus. And that meant grappling with a bunch of challenges. For example, there was a loss of institutional memory about how to conduct real in-person meetings, how to get sponsors, how to print physical issues that you distribute on campus, when last year's team just did not have to do any of that and instead had to grapple with a bunch of COVID-specific challenges. And so I think it was both stressful because it was almost a completely new learning process for me, as well as my co-editor Faye. But it was also easy as the year went on. People, we're so lucky to be working with a team who's so not only incredibly talented, but also incredibly hardworking. So I think everyone just kind of cracked on with it. And as the time went on, just everyone became so excellent at their job that we basically didn't have to do much.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. But I think we've also made some like internal changes within the organization of iScience itself, because so much work initially would fall on your shoulders and on Faye's shoulders as editors-in-chief. And now what changes did we actually make? Some rearrangements in terms of we hired more people, I think, as well.
Yeah, so we created new positions. For example, we created deputy editor positions for online content. So we have a deputy online features editor as well as a deputy news editor now, just so it isn't just a single individual producing so much content for the website. I think it's also meant that people can focus on creating more high quality content that's more consistent. And so we can if me and Faye just disappeared tomorrow, iScience would go on without any difficulty whatsoever.
Well, that's a big thanks to like all the people that are working with us,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I also think that, well, now that you mentioned, it's kind of the role of us being part of the iScience team is not just, just to fulfill our commitments of what we signed up to, but also actively redefine our roles.
Yeah, exactly. And so there were some people who really, really stepped up to the plate. So really admire, for example, the social media manager. Our brand image has just, I think, really improved when she's creating all this like great content for our Twitter page, for our Facebook page, for our Instagram. It just looks like we're on the ball all the time, and of course that really helps with securing next year's sponsors as well. And while I'm here shouting people out, might as well also shout out our marketing manager as well. One of the biggest challenges about producing a physical copy is that paper costs money.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And so because of that, we were very, very worried about whether or not we'd be able to have corporate sponsors in a time where the economy was slowly recovering. It may be lots of corporations were still quite hesitant to fund student societies, but our marketing manager really stepped up, got us a great partnership with Chesterton's, a real estate agent, and it meant that we could print 800 to 1,000 copies for each issue.
How many copies do we have for this issue?
800.
800, yeah.
Yeah. So it's great.
Wonderful, yeah.
It's a wonderful mini issue that we hope that everyone reads.
Yeah, it's kind of small, very but so many interesting stories in there. Some great artwork, as we've mentioned. Yeah. But looking back now, just your personal opinion, which of these three of this academic year, which one is your favorite?
It has to be Rest of the World. It was. I love discussions about what does science look like in non-Western contexts, like what the different cultures around scientific research, are there problems in terms of equality, in terms of ensuring that everyone has access to participate in this great thing that we call science and technology. And I think this was a really great issue that drew so much attention to the social politics of science and technology, but also celebrated a lot of great science research that came out of these other parts of the world that we just don't even think about in the West, right? So for example, how do we understand like animal research or ecological research in places where there is still a significant thing we call the environment, right?
Exactly.
And nature. And so it was a really wonderful issue. And I think the cover is also so striking.
I know, yeah. That was such a good cover as well.
Yeah, exactly. There are still issues that you can grab around. There are some magazine racks in the Sherfield building. If you're interested in looking at them, you can just still pick up a copy before, they all get snatched away and replaced with the new issue of Joy.
Yeah, and then I remember also last year's team also had still copies from their previous issue on campus, and we just put them in the stands again, redistributed them basically, and they were gone within weeks. So actually people were really interested, picked them up, read it, and so there's so much out there. But yeah, moving on from the magazine, just to you again about what's coming up for you after this term, after this year.
Well, it's probably going to be more science journalism. So First, let me give a shout out to my co-editor Faye. She's so talented. She is going to be working at CERN during the summer.
Wow, yeah.
Really exciting stuff. And so she'll be the communications officer. It's quite funny because I think she came from a non-physics background, but she will be writing about particle physics as well as nuclear physics coming out of CERN. So good luck to her. It's incredibly difficult, even from someone who has a physics background. But she's completely capable of it. She's so talented. I will be at Science, so the journal.
The journal.
Yeah, the journal that has a news website. So that's where I'll be during the summer. Hopefully after that, we'll see where life takes me. Hopefully another science journalism job. Oh, but we should have a reunion to come back and see where everyone is after the summer. That
Exactly.
would be so fun.
That's such a good idea as well. Yeah, we're actually planning for the radio show to, well, we might stop at some point now after the end of this term, and then have a reunion show sometime in August or something.
Yes, have a reunion show with the new radio producer, the new radio editor. Just give them some
That's
key
a
pieces
great
of
shout,
advice.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should do that. Yeah. So, yeah. With that being said, thanks so much for your time again, Jacqueline,
Yeah.
and sharing all your thoughts, about the magazine, about your own life, and we'll have a quick switch over now. So, Jacqueline, thanks so much again.
Thank
And
you for having me.
And Will's going to take over quickly. So yeah, Will's our next guest. Really quick changes here. And yeah, he's in because he's also related to the latest issue, Joy, of this third iScience magazine for this academic year. So Will, you've been one of the contributors. You've written an article.
Yeah, that's right.
About smiling.
Yeah.
And why we should smile more, I think, and the science behind it.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of the power of smiling and why it's important both for our health and just
tell us a little bit about your article then.
Yeah, well, it kind of it's ended up sort of focusing on the oh god, I forgot the name now. The what's it called? Oh, no, I know. The facial feedback hypothesis.
Oh,
there we go. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name, man. There we go. Which is basically the phenomenon whereby if you smile, it kind of feeds back to make you feel happier. So you might be feeling happy and smile, and then the act of smiling actually makes you feel even happier.
Oh, it's like a positive feedback.
Yeah, positive. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the central sort of focus of the article. But it's also looking at then how that can be applied to make us feel happier.
Oh, it's interesting. And has this hypothesis been tested?
Yeah. It's had quite several, lots of studies about it. But one of the most significant ones was actually happened, I think, in 1988, and it was a German scientist actually, and they kind of test it by putting a pen in somebody's mouth. So they either hold it between their lips. Or between their teeth, and whether they do one or the other, it kind of forces them to smile or not. And then they were shown kind of comedic cartoons and things, and their sort of response to that, how funny they found it, was kind of measured. And it was shown that the one where they were forced to smile they had a bigger response.
I found it even funnier.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So it was quite an interesting sort of type of experiment to look at.
Yeah. So in that story, is that the story that inspired you to come up with this topic, or what were your initial thoughts?
I hadn't really heard of that before. That was all just sort of afterwards in the research. Right. To be honest, the real inspiration was just hearing the theme of the issue, joy, and I just thought, well, smiling seems like such a kind of obvious thing that we all do all the time, but actually what is the science behind it, and how could that be interesting to sort of look into more, and also the power of it, such a simple thing, but it can actually have such a big positive impact on health. Yeah,
and I think not just on yourself but on others as well, just in your immediate surroundings, because I think it's such an infectious thing. It's the same with yawning, for example.
Yeah.
Once you see someone yawn, you're very inclined to as well.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing with smiling, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And is there any a specific factor you learned along your process, something that really stood out from the rest? Something catchy, funny, or
there's something
weird?
I mean, it's not really funny, but kind of weird or interesting. It's not really a fact either, because it was one of the theories behind the facial feedback hypothesis, was that it was to do with sort of the air that we breathe in, the airflow through our nose, and the airflow in the blood. The temperature of blood in the brain, basically. And so the cooler the air, the more pleasurable we would feel.
Oh,
And the warmer the air, the more sort of gloomy we would feel. So the idea is that when you smile, it kind of, because of the changes in the muscles in your mouth and your face, it changes the way that air moves into you through your nose, and that then in turn changes the temperature and could potentially be having these effects. So yeah, it's really bizarre to
It's really
look
like
into.
these subtle changes. You never think about that these have any effects
I know,
whatsoever.
but that's one of the genuine theories behind it. So I found that quite fascinating. It's just these kind of strange things, and you think, how did anyone even, realise that could be causing it? But yeah, I thought that was interesting anyway.
So yeah, great. Definitely check out Will's article in that case.
Thank you.
And yeah, smile more, I guess.
Yeah, smile.
Is that a key message?
That's the message. Yeah, exactly. And there's quite a lot of songs that are about smiling. So that was one of the ones I referenced in the article was "Smile," which was recorded initially by Nat King Cole.
So you can recommend more now on the show if you want. You
oh gosh, here we go. Put me on the spot. I don't know, things like "Smile Like You Mean It" by the Killers, maybe, or I don't know, a thing like that.
Okay, yeah. But so moving on, as the same with Jacqueline, from your contribution to the article in iScience to your own personal undertakings.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you're part of SMP.
Yeah.
You've had your placement. You can maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And what's next for you as well.
Yeah, I was very lucky with my placement to go to the BBC.
Oh, wonderful.
And to be working on a new series about planet Earth, which I think will be coming out sometime next year. I mean, obviously, I only played a very, very small role in the whole thing, but it was such a cool experience to be there and to be part of the research team that's working on it, because it's quite a big series with a lot of visual effects and stuff, because it's kind of going back through geological time.
Oh wow!
So how planets kind of come to be, and then how it's the direction it's heading in, with climate change.
So you had to integrate lots of animations and stuff as well. Into
Yeah,
that
well, I mean, I wasn't personally sort of doing the animation, but yeah, kind of researching things that were going to then go on to be animated for the final thing, and trying to make sure they were scientifically accurate, but also, telling the story that they want to tell.
Yeah, well, BBC's a great name.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Great experience. And can you imagine yourself working for the BBC in the future as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that is... I definitely like to get into TV and especially, science documentary making. So, yeah, it'd be a dream to work at the BBC, really.
Yeah, and is there anything tangible now planned for you coming months, next year?
Well, not really yet. I mean, we're on the SMP course. We're now going into our final sort of film project, so we're in the early stages of planning that and hopefully starting filming in the next couple of weeks. So that's kind of the big thing coming up now. I haven't really got any plans for after. I think the sort of TV contracts and things are all quite, immediate. So you sort of I'll start looking for stuff near in the final few months of the course. But yeah, it's
exciting times.
Exciting times, yeah.
Exactly, so many possibilities, and then it will eventually all kind of collapse into one.
Yes, we hope so. Yeah, we hope it all comes together and works out. But yeah, exciting times ahead.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much,
I
Will.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and congratulations on the 20th show as well.
Thanks so much, yeah.
It's a great achievement.
Still can't believe it's been 20 shows.
I know. I was saying to you before, does it feel like it's been 20? And it's weird because, you just keep going, don't you?
You do your weekly thing. Or now, recently we haven't been that consistent, to be honest.
Well, it's still been a presence in the sci-com world, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us again.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
All right, now I think it's time for us to play our second song. Making their iScience radio debut, here is the aptly named band Radiohead and their song 15 Step.
Come on in.
That was 15 Step by the English rock band from Oxfordshire, Radiohead. So Camilla quite likes their stuff, and they are known for their experimental approach, which is credited as advancing the sound of alternative rock. 15 Step is from their 7th album, In Rainbows, and amazingly, when they released this album in 2007, they allowed their listeners to download the whole album for a pay-what-you-want amount, including £0. This made headlines all over the world, actually, and created a big discussion about what it would mean for the future of the music industry in general. So quite a big impact. The album also won a Grammy in 2009 for Best Alternative Music Album. And now, to continue our conversation about music, we now welcome Caitlin Byserd from our course to talk about her own music. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So to start us off, because it's the first time you're on the show, we mentioned your dramatic story last time your dramatic car story on our show last, but it's the first time you're actually in the studio. So as per tradition, we'll ask you where you're from and what brought you to Imperial.
So if you cannot tell from my accent, I am from the States. I'm from North Carolina. Essentially, I have been planning to move out of the U.S., specifically to England since like middle school, I think. And so I had saved it all the way up until graduate school, and I was looking for places, and SciComm seemed like the sort of thing that I wanted to do. You know, I like science, but I don't necessarily want to be in a lab for the rest of my life.
Yep.
So I ended up applying, and I thought I bombed the interview, but apparently I did not, because I'm sitting here today. So that's fortunate on my end, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, you kind of, like, from your background saying that it's kind of the same feeling that we all have. We did science, found out that we don't want to be scientists, or like not pure scientists for the rest of our lives, and then so that's how we ended up in SciComm. And it's the same as Jacqueline mentioned earlier about different talents. You've also got various talents, including music. So we're aware that you have a couple of your own music on Spotify. Can you tell us a little bit about your background with music and how you got into it, basically?
So calling myself a musician is probably a bit of a generous term. So I've always liked singing. I've sang since I was little. I was in like my elementary school choir where I had a solo, not to brag or anything. And I was in like musicals and stuff. But then I kind of developed sort of stage fright. I get very bad stage fright and stuff. And so I sort of took a step back and focused on other things like video editing and that sort of thing. And then I, on a whim, because obviously when you're home and your family's all there and stuff, you don't really want to sing and that sort of thing, because then you get the opening the doors and the comments. Mm-hmm. So when I went to college, my undergraduate university, I ended up just buying a microphone to hook up to my computer, and I started recording covers. And then eventually I was like, well, why don't I just make something myself?
Yes.
So I found this really great online free DAW, which is like a music production thing. It's called BandLab. And I just sort of messed around with it. And within like a week, I had produced essentially a whole song. And I just stuck with it ever since.
Wow,
so.
such a fast progression as well. Like,
yeah.
You're very hands-on the all the software. I know you have great like editing skills in terms of like all the little clips that you make, animations. You've got a lot of experience with Premiere Pro, and same seems to be for music production, I think. So we found you from Will and through Camilla. I knew that you have this song called "Funky Night I'm All Yours," and we're going to play it later after this interview, if you don't mind. Can you tell us a little bit about that song and how it came about, basically?
So it was not the first song that I've ever written. I actually have about 14 songs that I've written since 2019, and about 10 of those are completely composed. This is the only one that's ever been sort of officially released. Obviously, the other ones will down the line. But at the beginning of the pandemic, I got really into new disco, which is a subgenre of EDM. Can't tell by the name.
I love EDM.
Yeah. So it's real good. It's if you know what French house music is, it's pretty close to that.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, it actually takes a lot of derivatives from it and stuff. And so I got super into new disco, and I was like, I felt so inspired by it. I was like, I really want to try, crafting something myself. So I booted up the old synth software and that sort of thing, and just sort of went to town on that. It almost didn't happen because I'm very cheap. So I use a combination of two different DAWs. I use BandLab, which is free, and then I also use something called FL Studio. And FL Studio costs around $100, and I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah.
So I use a trial version of it, where essentially it means that you can use it for free as long as you like, but you can't exit out of it. So as long as you keep it running, you can use it as much as you want.
I ran into the similar problem with like video editing before.
Yeah. So you can probably see what happened. So I got about 1 minute and 30 seconds into the song. So I had like up until the end of the first chorus, and it crashed. And all I had was a little WAV file of that, and so I sort of took a break from it for a while. It took me a long time to even make it up to that point, but I just loved the song so much, and I just loved the sort of vibe for it that I was like, I can't just let this die. So when you hear it, it's actually essentially that first part remixed like 3 different times for the other segments of the song. So yeah, that's, I guess, how it came into fruition. I'm pretty content with the results, I would say. I don't think it took a long time to get the transitions to sound okay between the parts and stuff. And obviously for the bridge, you have to create an entirely new instrumental for that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. In terms of inspiration and stuff, it was mostly just I wanted to create a sort of fun, happy song, kind of ironically, timing-wise, with the pandemic going on. You're not exactly going to be going out.
Well, that's what we needed for, like a little bit of optimism. Same as like with this, what Jack said about Joy, this magazine.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, that's great. Really can't wait to listen to it. But yeah, just to ask you a few more questions about it. On Spotify, I see your name is it RC?
Yeah, RC.
And does that mean anything?
It's a little embarrassing. So like obviously if you play video games you probably have like a gamer tag, for instance, and so that just sort of developed into my online presence and things of that nature. And so my gamer tag is kind of a mouthful and people mispronounce it all the time. So I was like, well, I don't want everyone to mispronounce my artist name and stuff. So I just shortened it to RC essentially. And I kind of like it because it's androgynous, so like there's no such gender things in that sort of nature. I kind of like that vibe. And it's easy to say, so I like it quite a bit.
That's good. Yeah, it's really nice. Also, like you have like a little, it's kind of like a DJ name, but you know, it fits well with the EDM
I have
theme.
a little intro thing for it, so
it's nice. So what's next for you, like in production wise in terms of music? Then have you got any more songs planned right now? Or
I do. I have a short little EP work in title in progress. It was originally just going to be one song, but then I got like a crazy boost of inspiration, wrote an entire song in like a week to add on to it. And so it's going to be sort of 2 songs on a little EP plus a self-cover version. And the reason there's a self-cover version is that instead of my own voice, I'm going to be using a vocal synthesizer software for it instead, called Synthphi. It's very close to Vocaloid, which is a it's a very niche genre of music. But it's really super cool. Essentially, it's a robot voice singing that you tune yourself and that sort of thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's often like something like DJs use when they produce songs without any singers on it. You know,
yeah,
no
Porter
featuring artists.
Robinson uses it a ton, and it sounds super sick. And so this company released an English voice bank that's incredibly impressive, because usually when it's Vocaloid is Japanese. So when they release English voice banks, it's typically originally Japanese, just revised to be English. So there's usually like a bit of an accent on it, but this new English voice bank has astounding pronunciation and stuff because it's made for English songs.
Oh, I see.
So she's super cool. But yeah, I'm going to be releasing 2 songs with her on it, and it's going to be, hopefully, really good.
Okay, so then final question, also as we asked the other guests as well, what's next for you in general after this course, after this term?
Oh God, that's a crisis. I don't know. I think I'll probably end up doing something with social media and video. I want to say music will always be a sort of, I think, side hobby for me, just something that I do as a creative release, and something that I use to sort of explore all my interests and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably just a boring old office job.
Not boring at all, given your production skills and all your talents in that sense. I think you'll make a great fit wherever you end up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So thanks so much, Caitlin, for joining us. Now let's listen to your song.
Ooh.
Maybe you want to cue it in as well, like do a little intro.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have one.
Anyway, just say, this is Funky Night, I'm All Yours by Caitlin Bicep, known on Spotify as RC.
Do you want me to say it?
No, yeah, that's fine. I don't know. You can say it. Yeah.
Oh, well, here's my song Funky Night, I'm All Yours by myself, RC on Spotify and
Great.
Apple Music.
Wonderful.
Got a grip on midnight. The music is flowing. It feels like I'm floating. Can't bring me down, down, down from this high. And hey, won't you join me for the ride? Does it look amazing? Your smile's contagious. You're the only thing on my mind. And nights like this are the ones that we will miss when we get older, when the nights are colder. So why are we wasting time being somber? I check the vibes and they say that we're good to go. I don't know where we're going, we'll take it slow. 'Cause you're all that I want, baby, I'm in a hurry. As long as you're into me, I don't need to worry. That the night carries on and the music's on. I still feel your energy seep through my bones. Your part of me, I'm shaking me to my core. To say the word, baby, and I'm all yours. Baby, you're on fire. Can't adjust the flame like electricity flowing through my veins. I can feel the oceans move with you. Draw me like gravity. Pull me closer so that I may taste that sweet serenity. Oh, I can't deny the thrill I get. We move so in sync. Let the rhythm elevate you, baby. Come on and dance with me. And let's go all night. Don't stop till we see sunrise. Forget about tomorrow, all heartbreaks and sorrow. Everything will turn out just fine. I check the vibes and they say that we're good to go. I don't know where we're going, we'll take it slow. 'Cause you're all that I want, baby, I'm in no hurry. As long as you're into me, I don't need to worry. That the night carries on and the music slows. I still feel your energy seep through my bones. Your part of me, I'm shaking me to my core. To say the word, baby, and I'm all yours. I'm all yours, baby, I'm all yours. Take me higher and higher until I touch the sky. I'm on fire, light up, burning up for you, baby. So don't leave me hanging. I'm already wasted. Come on, just take my hand. I check the vibes and they say that we're good to go. I don't know where we're going, we'll take it slow. 'Cause you're all that I want, baby, I'm in no hurry. As long as you're into me, I don't need to worry. That the night carries on and the music slows. I still feel your energy seep through my bones. Your part of me, I'm shaking me to my core. To say the word, baby, and I'm all yours.
Once again, that was Funky Night, I'm All Yours by RC. Grammy winning, if I say so myself.
Thanks so much, Aaron, for that little takeover.
You're welcome.
And welcome in the studio, by the way.
Thank you. You're welcome, and I'm welcome in the studio.
Yeah, you are welcome.
But I feel like there's a game coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, you might be kind of right with that.
Really? It's a prediction I've made. I'm not sure how right I am.
Yeah.
I've taken up a part-time job as a fortune teller, and I've been telling everyone to trust nobody, and people are getting quite upset with me.
Well, I think you're closer to the truth than most people
So
think.
I made a guess there's a game coming up. Am I right?
You are right.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Hello, Camilla. Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the game.
Thank you.
So
That sounds
you're
ominous.
going to be competing against one another in our little trivia quiz. And yeah, this is going to be pretty, well, spontaneous. Because I don't have a list of questions prepared. But I'm on this website called
What?
Thought Catalog, where I'm just going to be looking at questions that I like. And I'm going to ask you to answer them.
Yeah, this is when all our listeners realize that I basically do everything for the radio show,
Oh,
and
I see.
Alex just
Yeah, I was
shows
going
up.
to say, you had the whole, you know about the game for a long time. You had the whole day to look up questions, and yet this is where
I'm
we
joking.
are.
I'm joking. Alex does a lot.
No, he.
I know, I have
she's
to
not
be,
joking.
I'm always on the spot. You're like chilling behind the production line.
I am chilling behind the production line.
Yeah, just because she's too scared to speak. And Alex is the star of the show. Everyone knows that.
No, the secret star is you, Aaron.
Oh, thank you so much.
I think I'm interrupting something. Should I leave?
Anyway, so let's get to the
Bros
questions.
before shows.
All right. So the way, that was not a bad one.
Thank you.
Okay, the way we're gonna do this is I can ask you a question at the same time, and you're gonna give me the answers. I don't know don't have sheets to prepare anything.
Do we have like a buzzer or something to press? or do we like buzz in, or do we say at the same time, kind of thing? Is it like one after the other?
What do you want? We can do that.
Do we get to decide? Like, do we get like a question for Camilla, a question for me, or a question for both of us? And the first.
I think
answer
it's better to have a question for both of you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do
But-
both of us. Let's just see. Like, we both say it.
Okay, you just gotta be honest about
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
one person
yeah.
answers first.
Yeah, just say if you knew the
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
or
yeah,
not.
yeah.
The-
Amazing.
Do we have to raise our
Okay.
hands, or do we just say it?
You just say it. I'm gonna ask you.
Okay,
Like,
okay,
You
got
don't
it.
have to stick
Okay,
around
I was
like a
Mr.
kid.
Hauser.
I'm not a teacher here. Like.
Can I go to the
Anyway.
bathroom?
So, question number 1, which is kind of a random fact. I'm gonna ask you. So you know M&Ms,
Yeah.
the little snack.
Yeah.
Sure.
Come in different colors. What is the rarest M&M color?
Oh damn.
You can think about it. I'm
I
just
have a
gonna-
guess.
I have
Alright.
a guess as well.
And go. What
I
is it?
think it's brown.
What is
Blue.
it? It is brown.
Oh
Nice.
wow! Well done.
My thought process was brown doesn't look that good, so why would they want more of the
Oh, that's a good point.
ugliest looking
Yeah,
color?
really good thinking.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
So that's 1 point to Camilla.
That's
She-
a good fact.
She was logical there. I just like guessed my favorite color out of the M&Ms.
But blue's like so many people's favorite colors.
Okay.
That's true.
Now, a question that Aaron might really like, I think.
Oh.
So, Samuel Tilden, Grover Cleveland, Al Gore, and Hillary Clinton share one thing, a distinction among U.S. presidential candidates. What is it? So, I can repeat the names. Samuel Tilden, Grover Cleveland, Al Gore, and Hillary Clinton. What do they all have in common in terms of the presidential
I have a guess.
election?
I don't know.
In terms of their what?
Yeah,
In
just
terms of the
what do they
presidential
have in common?
I have a guess.
So they all ran for president.
Oh, I have a guess.
I have a guess as well.
Okay. Aaron, you can go first on this one.
Did they all win the popular vote but lose the election?
What do you say?
Ooh.
What was your guess?
I was gonna say birthday, but now that Aaron mentioned that, I'm thinking about Al Gore because he had the really sketchy.
Like he came
Election,
so close to
yeah.
winning, right? Like 0.7%, something like
Yeah,
that.
I think you're right. I think
No,
Aaron
but I'm
takes it.
And Aaron, yeah, you're right on the money.
Yeah.
They all won the popular vote, but they lost the electoral college vote actually in the end, and didn't become
That's a
president.
good fact.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good fact. It's a real shame that I know nothing about British politics, the country I live in.
Mm.
But you know everything about American politics.
is like my thing. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1-1, I would say.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to Serena Williams, the tennis star.
Mm-hmm.
She won a major tournament while being pregnant with her first child. What tournament was that?
Oh, I know this
I
one.
don't know this
Okay,
one.
come on, you can ask first.
It's the
Okay.
Australian Open.
I didn't know that. I was going to say Wimbledon.
It is the Australian Open.
Yeah, I
yes.
think it was 2016.
I don't
I
don't
think that was
actually
the
have
last
the
time she
year.
won. I think that is.
Yeah,
Did Camilla just outmaneuver the fact master?
yeah. Well, I don't have the answer. But
It was
I just-
definitely the Australian Open, though.
Yeah,
And
just
it
says
was the
Australian
last
Open.
time she won a Grand Slam.
Imagine being like, "Good day, Serena."
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's 2-1 then. Let me move on to the next question. What's good? Oh yeah, I think I have a good one. Which country do you think consumes the most chocolate per capita? Oh God.
Per capita. It must be some sort of European country because chocolate is expensive.
I feel like it's the UK.
Well, okay, Aaron, you say the UK.
That's my guess.
I'm going to go with Belgium.
Oh, I must say, neither of you is correct. It's actually Switzerland.
Oh, that would be my second guess.
Yeah, I was gonna guess, but then I thought, like, how many people I've seen eating twirl today? And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, everyone eats twirl.
That would be my second guess.
We have flakes in every ice cream. How is it not?
Yeah, but here, like, is the chocolate that we have considered chocolate?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because it might just be sugar and, like,
No, but like
cream or something.
Cadbury. Like, well, I guess like who draws the line? Who's the Willy Wonka of the real world? Like who gets to decide what isn't? Like, is there like an international chocolate society that gets to decide who is and isn't chocolate?
Yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Oh.
Yeah,
That'd be
certified
good to
chocolate,
find out.
probably.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
All right.
Each to, you know what they say, each to their Toblerone. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, next one. So
No reaction.
no reaction. Yeah, no reaction. I shouldn't. Which of Shakespeare's plays is the longest? Do you think?
Ooh,
Isn't it like, wait, did he write like Othello? He did write that, right?
he did write Othello.
I'm gonna guess that because it
I'm
sounds cool.
gonna guess. I don't think it's Othello. I think it might be maybe Hamlet.
You're right.
It's Hamlet?
yeah.
Wow,
Nice.
well done.
Okay, I think. Well, how many more questions can we make because of time constraints?
Yeah.
It's 3-1 at the moment.
So
So we'll give you
killing
two
me.
more chances, 2 more questions
Okay.
to get it right to equalize. Right? So I'm gonna ask. What can I ask? How many ribs are in the human body? You can guess, and whoever's closer wins the.
Ooh.
Should we count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
This
7,
is when they
8.
are touching their own bodies awkwardly.
Let's see. I mean, I was gonna get. I already had a number in mind,
had
so I don't know if it's
12.
I say 14, 7 in each side.
It is 24 actually.
What?
No, she wins.
So it's close.
That's they're 12 in each side.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
12 on each side.
Wow.
Like the rib cage is quite
Wow.
massive. So it's 24 in total.
Wow,
Oh my god.
that is
fascinating.
horrible.
Okay, yeah, both horrible and fascinating.
Yes.
But I guess I got the point.
Yeah,
for
she
that.
You
did
got the point. and so
Undeserved.
no chance
Yeah.
of Aaron like catching up.
Yeah, this game is done. It's
All
a
right.
farce. Obviously, she paid the referee before the game.
I'm
Did not.
I'm such a neutral
Didn't have to pay.
person.
What? Just your unnecessary charm. What did you do? Anyway.
All right. Okay, I
continue.
think we can. Do you want to just still hear the last question?
Sure,
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Okay, I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose. What a geography question because that's what I really like. What is the world's biggest island?
Biggest
Biggest
island.
island.
Yeah, it's a common question. I think you should know that. Is it like something that everyone must know? And once you hear the answer, it's pretty obvious.
Biggest island.
Yeah.
I was going to say the UK, but it's probably not.
No. I mean,
Biggest island. Like, what is an island?
at what point does a continent cease to be considered an island?
So I can tell you, Australia doesn't count.
Yeah, I was going to say Australia.
because it's a continent.
but
Oh,
There's
okay.
also-
So,
like-
Antarctica
or
also
like
wouldn't count because it's a
Eurasia
continent.
doesn't count or Antarctica
Yeah.
doesn't count.
Okay, I have a guess.
I don't. Wait. Can you give me like 30 seconds to think? Oh, you know what? I don't know. I'm just going to guess.
I have 10 seconds.
I'm gonna I'm gonna be headstrong and say the United Kingdom.
It's not the United
Yeah,
Kingdom.
it's
unfortunately.
probably not.
I'm gonna say Greenland.
It is Greenland.
What?
There you go.
This is absolutely. You know what? You did really well, and I have to give it to you. I don't deserve this win. You did a fantastic
very-
job.
Very clear victory.
Yeah,
like an
it's a clear
all-out,
victory.
you got-
Much like my math teacher when she's teaching me, this is a lost cause, and I
I think I do have an maybe above average level of
intelligence.
no of just like useless facts, which aren't useless.
That's
Came into
true.
use now.
Yeah, clearly they're not useless. Like, for example,
Yeah.
why didn't you ask a question of, if you stacked $1 billion $1 bills on top of each other, how many Mount Everest would they reach? The answer is 12.5 for anyone wondering.
I actually did know that because you told me.
I know, I've told everyone in this room.
Well, Aaron, yeah, you tend to share everything you know, so everyone knows around you.
Oh gosh.
You're just not an expert anymore.
I know
on anything.
exactly how many times you went
That's-
to the bathroom today.
Well, you know what? If I said the things I know about you, I'd be kicked off the air. Yeah, I've been researching for the past week.
Anyway, I love this very much. We should do like a show just the
Yeah,
three
can we
of us
just
talk?
Can we just talk?
But for time
Camilla-
constraints,
Camilla-
we need to move on.
Camilla's been like a dictator and stopped you and I doing our fun ideas together. because we had so many ideas for the show, and Camille's always like, no, we can't do that. We have to be civil and PC. And then Camille's like, I can't say anything bad on the air. We'll get kicked off. But you know what, Alex?
Someone has to be the bad cop here, and we know it's not going to be Alex.
Well, you can just come on next time as well. So
I will.
The three of us, so that's fine.
Should I just like storm on in the middle of your next show?
Why not? We'll think about it. We'll think about it. Okay, now
Should I just not talk to you anymore?
we have to move on.
Okay, I'm moving on.
Now, for our fourth song, we have a recommendation by Aaron, actually. You can either introduce the song yourself, or I do that job for you.
Should I do it?
You should. Yeah, I would love for you to do it.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. This is called Lose Yourself to Dance by Daft Punk off their album Random Access Memories, featuring Pharrell Williams.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Technical difficulties. So, this is an opening for me to chat.
We're trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, apparently.
Yeah, it's a real. Sometimes.
But
the
Aaron,
Wi-Fi.
I think you love these technical errors because it just give you more time to talk.
How are you today, Alex?
Fire
You
away,
good?
yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Did you hear that? So people tried the KFC vegan nuggets. Okay. Anyway.
I wouldn't talk about the KFC vegan nuggets, but we're ready. Okay. What a great song. That was Lose Yourself to Dance by the French electronic music duo Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams, and that was released in 2013. And with this really vibey EDM party hit, our 20th show is approaching its end, and we want to dedicate these last minutes to thanking all of our listeners, especially our most trusted ones who've been with us from the start. So from Camilla's side, a special shout out to her parents and her dog Lily, to Vincent and her housemates, and from myself, a big shout out to my mom, my brother, to my cousins, my uncle, my flatmate Daniel, my friend Nick, Cambridge. From our course mates, I think Ingrid, Freya, Sophie, Vaish, all of them have been among our most active listeners, and I'm probably forgetting about many. But big shout out to you. Thanks so much for the contributions of this week's guests, Jacqueline, Will, Caitlin, and all the guests we had over the 20 shows. Yeah, it was really fun. Finally, a massive thank you to Aaron, who has gone from our first guest to a perpetually annoying feature on the show. No, just kidding, Aaron. You've been such a fun part of the show, actually, and amazingly, sometimes you came up with your little segment within like 5 minutes, which is really impressive. And it's always been super nice and chatty with you, I think, and we should continue. Still planning for a show where we're just going to sit down and talk for an hour, if the producer allows it. Anyway, until then, have a great week. Pick up a copy of the new iScience magazine, Joy, and from Camilla and myself, ciao.
My head spinning, and how time passes, heaven knows. You wake up in a carnival occasion, can't help moving around, the heat blazing. Shared a kiss outside a cash dispenser, and I'm glad that we did. Ignored some stormy weather, feed a flower, it grows, treat it sour, it shows. But we could always go to the movies. Got science, we got maths, you're staying after class, after class, after class. Got science, we got maths, stick to the cycle path, higher paths, just riding past.
Yet even modern urban man finds a need for parks with open spaces and green growing things.
Now we all know that E equals MC squared, but what does E equal when MC is Q?
So we presume this trip with bridges burned, keep travelling on but to where we're not concerned. Got to know my route round most these service stations, can't get complacent while this world's still young. So you can run on ahead, I'll just keep tearing round corners, taking it in, see me leaping through wardrobes. This race is finished, the crowd cheers, but see the man in the red clutching his water like a trophy. Got science, we got maths, and I don't care about psychology. Got science, we got maths, science like biology. Got science, we got maths, from the reindeer to the wallaby. Got science, we got maths. What? We don't need your terminology, keep it specific, scientific, you must have missed it. Like deep physics, I mean business, I'm not a businessman.